Well, it looks like we're getting the gang back together tonight on Locked on Astros. We're going to talk about Dana Brown and Joe Espada returning. Some fans are happy. Some fans are like, but are we going to get better? We're going to talk about it, break it down on this edition of Locked on Astros.
Oops.
What do you...
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked on Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked on Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked on Houston Astros, and we update you joins for a daily Locked on Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. Find me on X at Eric Talkstros. Find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse. You can find the show at Locked on Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making Locked on Astros podcast part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make this your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. We're trying to get to 16,000 subscribers. So go ahead and just hit that red button down there. Between Brett and I, we have over 18 years of podcasting experience, and we'll be here all off season. We're your team every day. We'll be there throughout whatever happens this off season. And I know that Brett was a little caught off guard when I kind of informed him on some of the moves that were made today, but we're going to talk about that on this edition of Locked on Astros podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. So, Brett, I know that a lot of us kind of figured this was going to happen, but right. Dana Brown and Joe Espada will be both back in 2026. Does it go further beyond that? We don't really know. We do know that Carlos Correa is going to be in the plans, not necessarily for the manager job, but basically going to be in the manager's ear from this point on. Arbitration eligible players. These are players that you can also non-tender.
Right.
Who's on that list? And the theme for today, I know I talked to you about this, but the gang is back together. Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So will the gang win next year?
Well, that is yet to be seen. I mean, we've got a long time between now and spring training when pitchers and catchers report. We've got the winter meetings. We've got, will the Astros make any moves? Will they go after someone like Ranger Suarez? Will they strengthen their starting rotation, which they absolutely, I think, need to do, especially with the injuries that they dealt with this last year? You can't have enough pitching. There are a lot of guys that are on the docket to get paid. Who are they going to pay? Who are they not going to pay? Who are they going to tender? Who are they going to non-tender? So there's a lot of chess to be played in the offseason. I think, Eric, that if you bring this squad back healthy as it is right now, and if with a couple additions here and there, I think that it is very safe to say that the Astros find themselves back in the playoffs. And it will probably be a much awaited time to get back in the playoffs, because 1 year out of the playoffs for Astros fans right now, to them, seems like an eternity.
I think that's why everybody's kind of surprised with today's move. The fact that I know that they're both technically under contract, and this was not a big deal, but the fact that they missed the playoffs for the first time in 8 years, definitely this was a situation where a lot of people thought that maybe Joe Espada's head was going to roll, maybe Dana Brown's head was going to roll, and I know there's been a lot of rumors floating around, and I think the Astros just decided to nip it in bud right now, and they went ahead and there's sources that told The Athletic, MLB. So right. Brian McTaggart, he was the first to report it. Chandler Rome later reported it. But sources told MLB.com that both Dana Brown and Joe Espada will be back with the club for 2026. Sources told. So this will squash any rumors or any speculation about them being shown the door, because they finished one win less from last year, one win less from making the playoffs. And I know it looks like the Tigers are about to get eliminated in the ALDS, but the Astros still had 87 wins this year.
Right.
It was still a respectable team. And if you look at it, Brett, they had 28 total injuries this year. And if you look at how many different players missed time, if you had like maybe 8 of those guys play healthy, maybe you're talking about 5 more victories, 3 to 5 more victories. You would advance in the playoffs and maybe even finishing with a better record.
Well, I mean, if you give me Spencer Arrighetti not going out with the freak accident, if you give me Yordan Alvarez for 115 games, if you give me Isaac Paredes, not those 3 right there, Paredes, okay, Yordan, and Spencer Arrighetti, I think this team easily wins 90 games. That easily puts you in the division lead. It may even knocks out one of the teams that's in the playoffs, the Guardians more than likely, right? Because you're right there tied with them. So it is a series of unfortunate events. It's not, there's so many people trying to dissect like what happened, what went wrong. At the end of the day, 2026, there's no way you can be that riddled with injuries again. I think the law of averages is in the Astros' favor. Not to say that no one's going to spend any time on the IL, but for them to have a repeat of that. Now, one of the things that's going to happen this offseason, or when we get to the draft, which is in the middle of next season, we will have some really high picks. And if we get the award show to give us Hunter Brown as a top 3 Cy Young, person, doesn't have to be first or second, but even if he's third, the Astros get a pick. If Framber Valdez goes somewhere else, we get a pick in between the first and second round because he's a high value free agent. So there are some really good things coming the Astros way. But with all that, it's what is going to happen in 26. And I think it was up here, Miss Scott said, if they don't make the postseason, Joe won't be renewed is my guess. So this is a huge year for Joe, in my opinion. And someone said, does Joe know how to manage a bullpen this next year? Everything. If you thought Astros fans were picky this year, wait till next year. They are going to over criticize, I think, to a point to where they're not going to give Joe a chance to make a single mistake. But Joe is a pretty calm, cool, collect guy. Look, if he can manage them back into the playoffs and a deep playoff run and maybe back to the Fall Classic, who knows? Maybe he gets extended. But this team needs to turn a corner in several areas.
Well, if you look at Dana Brown, a lot of people say, well, maybe the return to play, that needs to be reevaluated. There's several things that the Astros could possibly do better. But he did say last week that injuries are industry-wide issue. It's not just the Astros. He will look at every aspect of the Astros organization. There are guys that are trying to throw harder. There's guys chasing the spin rate. I don't think that there's a magic bullet out there to say why there's so many injuries this year. I know we were affected big time from it, and I think it cost us the postseason from all the injuries. I figured we get 2 to 3 more wins. That's what he said last week. So there's no magic bullet that's going to say the Astros are going to be magically healthy next year. So you've got to use this offseason. The Astros are going to have about $30 million, depending on what they do with arbitration, depending on who they non-tender. We'll talk about that a little bit later after we're done with this topic. But the Astros have some room to add some players and then kind of fill the rest from within. But Joe Espada did say it's going to be a fun offseason for us to try to figure out all this and try to figure out who's going to be put on the field. But yes, the pressure will be on Joe Espada because nothing's guaranteed beyond this season. Dana Brown, nothing's guaranteed beyond this season. And Jim Crane, he likes to win.
Yeah, he does. And I think more so Joe Espada than Dana Brown. And the reason why I say that, Eric, is if Dana Brown drafts really good, and if Dana Brown has a great offseason, then Dana Brown extends his time, I think, beyond next season. I think the postseason is a lot more contingent on Joe Espada's job is a lot more contingent and depends on whether they make the postseason. Because under him, they had a first-round exit and they didn't make the playoffs. So if you go a second year in a row without making the playoffs, I just don't think – look, managers are hired to be fired, okay? And that's what Mike Stanton tells me all the time. You know, especially when you got 1 year left, that is a contract that is waiting to just expire. You know, like right now in New York, the Yankees are fighting for their playoff lives. They came back and they took the lead on the Blue Jays. Aaron Boone for the Yankees has been, I think, fighting for his managerial life. And the Yankees have continued to have faith with them in the front office. They went to the World Series last year, but they still ultimately lost in that World Series. So if Aaron Boone exits in the ALDS, does that mean his job was on the line? That's the kind of pressure. And I think Joe Espada has a pretty short leash because Jim Crane, like you said, does not like losing.
All right, guys, we'll go and continue this conversation next. So we're going to move on to who's going to stay in the game if the Astros decide to win as a game next year.
That's right. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is here and the NFL season is here. And this is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Did you bet the Jaguars defeating the Kansas City Chiefs? I know I didn't, but had you done that with a $5 bet, you would have gotten $300 in bonus bets. That's right. You'll unlock this $300 in bonus bets across the entire app. I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. It's built for parlays. You can try player props. You can even follow live lines during the games. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Hey guys, go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. Go and make us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go and subscribe to us and go and help us get to 16,000 subscribers. And I know that the Astros need a little help to get back to where they want to be. I don't think it will take a lot. They do have a good skeleton, so to speak. They just need to add a few more pieces. But they could be losing some people from the game. And part of it could be on purpose to maybe free up some more money to try to stay underneath the CBT. But they could also be losing some players via free agency. But let's just go and talk about some of the players that are up for arbitration.
Right.
Dubon, he's due to get $5.8 million. Steven O'Kurtz, he's due to get $2 million. Luis Garcia, 2.2. Urias, he's supposed to get 4.4. Brian Abreu, 5.9. De Los Santos, 2.1. Chas McCormick, 3.4 million. Isaac Paredes, this is a guarantee almost, 9.3 million. He's going to get whatever he wants. Jesus Sanchez, 6.5 million. Jake Myers, 3.5 million. Jeremy Pena, 7.9 million. Hunter Brown, 5.7 million. I think he's still being underpaid at that amount, but
big time.
We'll see. Yainer Diaz, 4.5 million. Hayden Wesneski, 1.5 million. Bennett Souza, 1.1 million. And then Taylor Trammell at $900K.
Yeah, and you wonder which of those guys is going to be non-tendered, guys that they are not going to go after and offer money to. I think right now Chas McCormick on this list, to me, out of position players, has the lowest chance of returning to the Astros. I know there are a lot of people that say Mauricio Dubon might be one of those guys, but to me, look, he's not a power hitter, but he has come in and he has been dependable in certain spots. A lot of people think that he swings and misses too much here and there, but his versatility, I think, is second to none. I think the intangibles that he brings to the game are very valuable. And I think he's got more value than Chas McCormick, don't you think? Or because to me, Chas McCormick is just an outfielder. We have seen Chas when 2022, when he hit those home runs, he was doing all this thing, but he hasn't done that since then. What do you think, Eric? Who out of Taylor Trammell at $900K, I mean, you can't beat that.
Pocket change. That's
pocket change, right?
Yeah.
Urias, you might not because you kind of have a log jam. So you've got Urias, you've got Dubon. Dubon is a little bit more expensive than Urias, but in there, you've got a lot of guys. Jesus Sanchez, are you going to want to pay him the 6.5? I don't know. After he came here and basically flatlined offensively, he robbed a couple home runs, but outside of that, I don't know, Eric. What do you think?
Well, I think Luis Garcia, I loved his time with the Houston Astros, but he's not going to pitch in 2026. So
True.
Unless they're going to try to work out some type of extension with him, I think that they're probably going to non-tender him. I would say that if you're looking to save money, Jesus Sanchez is got to go. He didn't really show much in his time with the Houston Astros. I think that was looking back at it, I think we were happy about it at the time, but it probably was a desperation move. The Astros were just struggling offensively, and Dana Brown was just trying to put a Band-Aid on it. And Jesus Sanchez had a good track record, and he could still have a good track record, but with the Astros, he played bad defensively. He played bad offensively. He didn't really offer much to the team. So why are you going to pay him $6.5 million? You can allocate that to somebody else. And Chas McCormick, I think that there's a chance that they keep him around. He's a team guy. He's a guy that's been here. It's only $3.4 million. I think that he stays, but there's a chance that they non-tender him. But they can also, we focus on this non-tender. They can also work out a trade to trade away some of these guys.
Well, that's true. That's true. And that's another area where Dana Brown will be looked at by Jim Crane to, get everything settled to where the dust falls and you have a clear picture going forward, that you have enough guys in each of the positions, whether it be infield or outfield. But versatility, I think, Eric, someone goes only 3.4 million, LOL. Yeah, hey, look, in big league terms, that's huge. But versatility is going to be the name of the game, Eric, and I think is going to be these guys' ticket onto this roster. Because
going back to your Dubon comments earlier, where would the Astros have been with Pena out? You've had to play him at shortstop.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Out there. You need that versatility.
Right. And although he may not be the most reliable bat in the lineup, he's going to give you a glove. He's going to go up and compete. He's going to spoil some pitches. He's going to get that pitch count up. He's
not the player that Marwin Gonzalez was that season, but Marwin Gonzalez wasn't the same player.
Most people after that season. Yeah, a few others weren't. Oh man. And dude, I've got a Guardians fan on X who's been having a conversation with me, and I guess it's banter, but he's very, very upset about how the Astros have just absolutely ruined baseball, because now every time a team has success, he claims that because of the Astros, they're always accused of cheating. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because someone said, because one of the Yankees fans goes, well, the way the Blue Jays are hitting the ball right now, I'm pretty sure they're doing something like the Astros did. And I'm like, what are we doing? That was 8 years ago. Can we build a bridge and get over it? But getting back to what we're talking about, we've got a lot of choices to make. I say the club has a lot of choices to make. Dana Brown, dude, this dude's studying for a final exam, basically, and he's got to pass with flying colors.
Yeah, and he's got to clear some money on the payroll to sign some free agents. Some free agents are going to be leery of coming to Houston, not only because of what happened with Palmer Valdez, that little incident. I think that people do notice that. And I think that's going to – some people are going to stay away from Houston. But I think overall, I think players still want to come here, but there's way to save money. There's you could possibly even try to trade Christian Walker, but if Christian Walker will hit at home, just imagine how deep this lineup could be. And that leads up to our next point. Can the gang win with a improved roster, or is the error done? We'll go and talk about this and more on the Locked On Astros podcast.
Well, what do you get when you have a bald eagle standing on top of a silverback gorilla riding the T-Rex? Confidence, pure confidence. If you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugged Go Long. That's right. You've probably heard about Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugged Go Long. That's exactly where Rugged's Go Long comes in. This isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer in confidence. So Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medication in one dual-action formula so you can stay confident and be strong. The effects can last up to 36 hours, and that's confidence all day, all night, even into the next day. The process is simple. Connect with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships discreetly right to your door. If prescribed, your treatment gets there with no questions asked. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Then head to Rugged, RUGIET.com, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That's RUGIET.com, promo code LOCKEDON. Make sure to use your code so they know that we sent you. And trust me, it's not a hard decision to make, but you can go long.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you're listening to podcasts, go and check us out. And thank you for helping us get to 15,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to 16,000 subscribers. So I think what the Astros need to do is just be creative. I know last offseason, Dana Brown said we had to be creative. That creativity led to the trade of Kyle Tucker, and they got Isaac Paredes, Cam Smith, and Hayden Wesneski, and just a whole bunch of big pieces for the future. So Dana Brown needs to be thinking the same way. What can we do to improve this team without mortgaging the future? And I criticize all the trades that Dana Brown made, but he didn't mortgage the future. He didn't give up top prospects. He didn't do anything this during the trade deadline. But one of the things that we forgot to talk about in the first segment is Carlos Correa is back, and definitely this is something that Joe Espada is going to lean on. The fact that he didn't just come back to play, but he came back to be a leader, and he said, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to meet with Carlos Correa, and we're going to plan spring training and plan what we're going to do. I thought that was kind of unusual, but at the same time, I guess that's the type of leader that Carlos Correa is. The fact that the manager is seeking his input on how to make this team better.
Yeah, I mean, he is, because he knows how much weight that he holds in this clubhouse. He knows how much he means to the city, how much him and Altuve have a connection. And, you know, we talked to Jason Alexander about it, about the veterans, about the expectation, about going in and day out, expecting to win and make it to the playoffs and make a deep playoff run. And they were devastated. I know a lot of people said, oh, they gave up, or they didn't look like they had any gas in the tank. I think they were just tired from grinding. And I mean, it had to have been frustrating. You absolutely dominate the Dodgers, crush them, and then you get beat by a team that had just lost 10 in a row, get swept. And then you have things like getting swept by the Mariners late. I mean, there were just a lot of things. The Athletics took care of you at some point. I mean, it was just one of those seasons where you look back and you have a lot of head scratching moments, a lot of should have, would have, could have. But at the end of the day, That's what they need, Eric. That's what this fan base has been asking for. Can we get that guy back? And we didn't think it would come in the form of Carlos Correa returning. I mean, we thought it would have to be someone else. But Carlos Correa, remember, was the first overall pick for this club. And he came up through the system, and he took charge of this team. He put the team on his back when the scandal came up. He told people to basically shut the F up. He told Cody Bellinger to do that. And he doesn't care what you think about him. That's the attitude we need in this clubhouse. So I think it's an excellent move forward. But again, Joe Espada is going to have to pitch and he's going to have to coach his you-know-what off, and he's going to have to manage that bullpen in a way that's solid. Now, the bullpen was a little tricky to navigate because of injuries, but at the same time, look, I mean, he had 154, I believe, different lineups in 2025, Eric. So that's a lot. The question is not will he manage well, but when he puts guys in the position he does, will they perform? Will they execute? And Yordan Alvarez has got to play between 120 and 140 games. I say 120 minimum, but can he play 140 games? That's still yet to be seen.
I guess if this team, the lineup specifically, is healthy for the entire season, over under, do you see them getting more or less than 87 wins next year?
Well, after this year, it's really hard to predict, because if you'd asked me at the beginning of the season, I would not have forecasted all these injuries. If everybody's healthy, oh yeah, I think 87 wins should be your floor. I mean, why the hell not? I mean, why do we all of a sudden have to accept not going to the playoffs? Why do we have to accept, 87, this team's mediocre? No. Like, this team wins 95 to 97 games without all the injuries. With even half the injuries, Eric, they win at least 92. That's winning the division right there. And we're not seeing Cal Riley do a post-game interview where they're one game away from the ALCS for the first time in 20-something years. So, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but the bottom line is they've got to get back.
Yeah, they've got to do something, and it starts now. Dana Brown is back. Joe Espada is back. So Joe Espada and Dana Brown got to come up with a strategic plan to get those 3 victories back, to get to 90 wins at least. And because I don't think that the Mariners are going to all of a sudden become a bad team. I don't think that the A's are all of a sudden going to be a bad team anymore. I think that they're on the rise. So the Rangers they're going to be a team to reckon with. So the Astros have some work to do. And now that they have their manager and GM set in place, they know what they have to do. So we're going to go and end the podcast a little bit earlier. Brett's going to do back to the bullpen with Jason Alexander once again. He'll be joining. So if you want to go switch over to back to bullpen, go and check that out. But guys, we appreciate all of you everydayers that make us part of your daily routine. We'll go ahead and be back tomorrow talking more Astros baseball. And thank you for making us your first listen every day. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. And go Stros. Thank y'all for the kind word. Y'all are the best.